our people were unfortunately taken back to war in the last 1 week in Juba city of South Sudan. The incidents were very unfortunate. The killings were extremely unfortunate. They were senseless. And we in the SPLM in opposition totally condemn the situation. And we are asking our partners in peace to try their best to bring this situation under control so that the people of South Sudan can get back to the track of peace. One thing has to be made very clear is that the SPLM in opposition with its leadership went to Juba to implement the peace agreement. We did not go to Juba to cause any war. If you see the number of our troops in Juba and you compare it to the troops of the government, we were totally outnumbered. We went with over 1,000, 1,370 to be specific, with light weaponry. If you compare that with tens of thousands of the government troops that are in Juba, accompanied with tanks and attack helicopters, you can see clearly that our intention of going to Juba was trying to bring peace back to the people of South Sudan. That has to be made very clear. Secondly, is that the day the fight started in J1, the presidential palace, when the president, the first vice president, and the vice president were having a meeting, was not caused by bodyguard of the first vice president, as some rumors have been flying around. If you see the number that we had with no support, it doesn't make military sense that we would start a war in such a place where we are in. We suspect that there are some elements within the government of President Salva that wanted to derail the peace agreement or harm the first vice president or even the president. But all of this, we will leave it to the investigation committee that was established by the president under Alfred Lado Gore, who is the interior minister and also the vice chairman of the SPLM in opposition. Second thing that has to be made clear as well is that this rumor that James Gadet, the spokesperson of the first vice president, triggered the fight by posting a Facebook statement is not right. Firstly, he posted almost half an hour into the conflict already has erupted, and he cannot have triggered the fight because he was trying to explain why the fight could possibly be happening, and it was not easy to define it. Even the president himself and the first vice president and the second vice president could not explain what was happening outside. Number two, the bodyguards, whether they are fighting or on duty, are not watching their Facebook pages. So you don't expect a bodyguard to go and check the Facebook and say, James Gadet said this, therefore I have to go to war. All these things are people trying to look for something that is not there. We believe that this is a planned attack on the SPLM-IO leadership with intention to liquidate it, whether it is the political leadership or the military leadership, by people within the government of President Salva, either with the blessing of President Salva or without him knowing. So all of this will come out through the investigation committee that was set up. Nonetheless, it is very unfortunate, and we hope that we can get back to peace. The third thing that has to be made clear is that the fight itself did not begin, the tension did not begin on that day in J1. We have gone through 2 weeks of high tension. It started with the government forces doing searches of first vice president's bodyguards that were very provocative and intrusive without coordination. It escalated on 2nd of July, on Saturday, with the killing of our security officer, a very senior security officer, Lieutenant Colonel George Alex Gismalla. He was killed in the daylight, in the middle of the day, in the middle of a market, Suksita, in Juba, and it was taken by the MI vehicles. It was thrown in the mortuary for us to pick it up at a different time. The same day in the evening, we also lost Lieutenant Domach to the government forces in such situation. So we lost 2 security officers the same day on 2nd. Then of course on 7th, while the bodyguards of the first vice president were going back home from taking food to their colleagues that were protecting the office of the first vice president, they were stopped and their cars were shot at and 2 of their soldiers were wounded. In reply, they responded back, killing 5 of the government soldiers. So this Friday meeting itself of the leadership was trying to address the tension that was already gathering in the country. Unfortunately, those who were creating this tension took it to the next level and created the carnage that took place outside J1. We have to know that the tension was going on. And what was the cause of this tension? Of course, it is because the transitional security arrangement in the country under the peace agreement have not been implemented. First of all, Juba is supposed to be under the security of Joint Integrated Police, made up of 1,500 from the SPLM in opposition and 1,500 from the government, trained, working together, integrated, and working as one unit. If they were the one doing the searches, we would have not had this escalation. But of course, the government has dragged its feet in implementing the security arrangement of this. Our forces were supposed to be 3,000. Instead, there were 1,370. A lot of things were not done to make sure that the forces are made to cooperate and to work together. Instead, the anti-peace forces within the government of President Salva had been pushing people towards such incident. So there is a combination of lack of implementation of the peace agreement and the work of anti-peace elements within the government of President Salva. So we believe that the peace agreement, though it is an intensive care unit, is not dead yet. But what needs to be done is that people need to be serious about this transitional security arrangement, especially for Juba and other cities. Either it is done the way it's supposed to be done, that is totally demilitarization of Juba, handing over Juba to Joint Integrated Police, that is made up of forces from both sides, working together and trained together, and our forces that are supposed to be here be brought to Juba. If this cannot happen, then we don't see how the peace agreement can be resuscitated, because we will go back to the same situation. It will force the region and the international community to look for other means to bring peace to the people of South Sudan that have suffered for far too long. One of the channels being pursued now is handing over Juba to a third party, security of Juba, to a regional intervention brigade that will handle the security in Juba under the UNMISS, under the UN mandate. Such situations are what we have forced the region and the international community to be pursuing. So either we follow the agreement in the spirit of and letter, or we will force the international community to take control and take charge so that the people of South Sudan are given a break if the two parties are not doing. So it is good that through all these incidents, President Salva and First Vice President Machar have been in contact, and they are working very hard to try and salvage what is left of the peace agreement. We need to work hard with them and to help them try to pull the country back together, back in its feet. We're praying that they succeed in salvaging the peace agreement. So the actions of some anti-peace elements within President Salva's government have been very unbecoming. One will be hard-pressed to believe that all these things happened by accident, that the first vice president is attacked, his bodyguards are attacked while he's having a meeting with the President of the Republic, that the following day people go to his base and attack him with the heavy artillery and attack helicopters, leveling his building down completely where he lives. Thank God that he was outside of the building. All these things did not happen by accident. Somebody planned it to sabotage the peace agreement. Somebody wanted to get rid of the first vice president. But such activities will not bring peace to the people of South Sudan. They can only increase the suffering of the people of South Sudan. And we urge these anti-peace elements to reconsider their actions. For example, the firing or the relief of the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Shireen Oiteng, was uncalled for. The agreement says clearly what is the procedure that needs to be followed when somebody from a different stakeholder within the partnership of the transitional government of national unity is to be fired. There is a space of 14 days that have to be given so that people can look into why the minister is to be fired. So such actions, such unilateral action that are contrary to the peace agreement are the one that has been pushing people closer and closer back to war. So we urge them to stop such action. We appeal directly to President Salva to slow down and to rein in on people within his camp that want to sabotage the peace agreement, because this peace agreement, like it or not, is the only option the people of South Sudan have for a stable country, for a united country, and for a country that can become prosperous. Anything short of that will be catastrophic for the people of South Sudan and the future of South Sudan. We're now hearing rumors that they want to replace other people within the transitional government of national unity, including even the first vice president, a position that is belong to the opposition, and it is the leadership of the opposition that decides who takes that position. It's not up to the president to decide who and who not to fire in transitional government of national unity. So this action of wanting to destroy the peace agreement are continuing, and they are alarming, and they may push us back. So we call on the regional country to redouble their efforts and their engagement with South Sudan to help us, to help this new country get on its feet. Already the foreign ministers of the IGAD have met here in Nairobi, and they have had a communique and some resolution out, including some steps they will take to secure Juba and to get the parties back on the peace agreement. We thank them for that, and we hope that they redouble their effort on that. The international community also have worked very hard throughout our struggle until we became independent, until the war came out, and they helped mediate between us until we had this peace agreement. So we hope they continue with their effort to help the people of South Sudan get back on their feet. Message to the people of South Sudan is that we must stick together. Nobody chose to be born a South Sudanese. God decided to put us here together. He's not wrong. Nobody knows better than the God. To put us here as 64 tribes, living in one region, living in one place called South Sudan. We must embrace ourselves. We must accept ourselves. We must forgive ourselves, reconcile with ourselves, and find a way to bury tribalism, or tribalism will find a way to bury us all. I know times are difficult, but with the determination that we have shown, the perseverance that we have shown as a people over the last 50 years as we struggle for our independence, will hopefully take us through these difficult times. The only way is unity, the only way is peace, the only way is productivity, so that we can move forward to become a nation that the rest of the region and the world can be proud of. I still believe in us as the people of South Sudan, that we will push these leaders to bring peace to the country, so that we sustain this country, so that it does not disintegrate, as many of our detractors have said before, that the people of South Sudan cannot govern themselves, that they cannot live as one nation. There is nothing that brings them together. We believe that there's a lot of things that brings us together than divides us. So let's get rid of this bad politics and this bad blood, and try and work together, implement these axes in spirit and letter, so that we can rescue our country. Thank you.